Welcome to Oh Brother, a podcast of three brothers trying to figure it all out. With your hosts, Brandon, Collin, and Aaron. On this week's show, Aspirational AC. Hello.
Hello.
Greetings. Hello. Welcome. What?
Trying to untangle my headset.
Oh,
Here we go.
That is important.
Yes. Ow.
kind of needed.
All right. Now I'm good.
Aha. Welcome.
Are you sure about that?
Now,
Yes, I'm fine. I'm all of the fines.
Not the most convincing, but all right.
Good. Stick with that. Stick with it. I was trying to come up with a way of to do kind of streamline the podcasting workflow, and I was like, oh, maybe if I can just record the intro while while getting the call, that way I don't have to go back and do it. But I was like, but I always say the name of the episode in the intro.
That's true.
And there's no way that I can know that. So
That is a good point.
So, maybe I just come up with some wacky phrase and we have to work it into the episode after that. It's kind of like a little challenge.
I don't know. I like the picking a random thing that somebody said out the middle of the episode and making up
I'm just
time
being
for some reason.
I'm just being
Not some weird Groucho Marx thing like the word of the day is.
I don't know. People have done it before. The work.
I mean, that's true, but
Anyway.
that was assuming that we have a plan,
Oh.
and all of our listeners know that is not true.
No, that's not true. You have made it, what, now 61 episodes with us? And oh my
Yes.
goodness.
So there's no
sorry.
There's no plan. And if it's your first episode, welcome.
Welcome.
How's it going?
Oh.
Sorry in advance.
Also sorry in advance.
Just yeah. So we'll go on this ride for a little bit. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good. I am almost end of semester. Friday is it. So
Crazy.
made it. And I purposely, this time, was not an idiot. And just finished all of my stuff last week. Dunsky, right? So all the stuff that I was going to grade, or anything that's going in for a grade, was finished last Friday.
Wow.
Because in the past I've been like, no, we'll do it. I'll squeeze some stuff into last week. No, that's a ridiculous idea. There's so many bizarre things that happen the last week before a big break that are just random. Oh, we're doing this today. We are.
All that time.
But I was gonna do this other thing, right? So you don't really have the full time. There's all these
Right.
surprise things that are always oh no, well you can't do it this day because we're doing X thing, or another teacher has to do X thing this day, so it moves stuff around. So it's just you know what? I'm gonna be done Friday. We did our presentation on Friday, and we're just sort of doing enrichment extra stuff.
Mhm.
Right? We still did some science notes, but the binder grade is already yep. I already know who's getting good grades on that based on who's actually been taking notes and doing their stuff. So that's really not a super big one. But the rest of it is no, I'm done. That way we can just do things look at samples and do hands-on rock-based activity things and take it real easy and then just kind of be done.
Yeah.
So I'm not Friday be oh my gosh, I got to make sure I get this in the grade book before I go, because no. That's terrible. I've done that before.
Yeah.
And last year I did that a bunch and I was wait a minute. this is silly.
Oh no. Well, how
So,
did
I'm trying to do
the
better at
rock
that.
digging go?
Yo, it went really good.
All the shovel safety was implemented.
All the shovel
perfectly?
safety was followed
Nice.
without exception. It was very excellent. Went to a new spot on the one side of the property there, and then I'm going to ask about going further next time because there's just a big old giant field down there with nothing in it. So I had one group
you know what's in that field.
I do slightly know what's in that field because I sent one group to dig a test hole in one of the corners.
Yeah.
And bang, Fossil City right there at that corner. So there we go.
I was gonna say there are rocks in that field that you need.
There are rocks in that field.
Now,
We found them.
fossils too. So I think,
yeah, confirmed.
Okay.
Couple pretty excellent rocks with fossils in them.
Sweet.
So they're just that those Missouri. Sorry, listeners, for this mild geology tangent, but those really those classic Southwest Missouri rocks. They're like white and just red clay based, like mudstone type of thing. That's what we found a whole bunch of.
Nice.
The ones that none of the Missouri geology websites talk about.
No.
Helpfully.
No.
Hey, Missouri Department of Natural Resources. Why does your website only list limestone as the only rock in all of Southwest Missouri?
Because technically,
I know that's the bedrock.
Well, but
I understand that we're dealing with Mississippian bedrock. Okay, what?
Technically,
it's not the only thing there.
It's a kind of.
There's traces of eroded other stuff, so we've got to get that too.
Yeah. It's yeah, and the other kind of fossils in Missouri can be kind of crazy because it's you find it and they're just like a big old glommed on of all the seashells, like they're not broken down at all like a true limestone, right? Where it's just like it's just like they glued them all together in a giant ball, right?
Yeah,
fossilized
that like coquina type stuff, right?
Yeah, like all the crinoids and corals and brachiopods, all that stuff is just like
these are all
together.
Like seashell type things.
Yeah.
That's the most we found out mostly. But so a lot of that is like it's kind of because it's above the bedrock, so it's like eroded pieces of older or younger material that's sort of broken down and sitting on top of the stuff.
Right.
So it's a little bit complicated that way, but it's still kind of interesting that that's where it's at, and it still sort of tells us that that's what was there before, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've also decided I kind of want to go to eastern Missouri to the St. Francois Mountains, the St. Francis Mountains over there, because I want to see some Precambrian Missouri igneous rock. Just because that's
as one does. Yeah.
I've been playing with one of the Missouri Geological Survey maps from the 70s, like the super detailed one. Man, that thing is great. So I kind of want to go there and check out some of that stuff.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite spot on the geologic map of Missouri because it's so weird. It just sticks out from everything else around it. Where like you got the plains and you got the and then all of a sudden like that's where the mountains are. That's where the St. Francis Mountains are. Right?
Yeah,
sticking out there like a store.
Like what? Well, it's just interesting too because that area has experienced so much erosion, right? And that it's eroded all the way down to the very oldest layer in the state.
Yeah.
Right. It was upthrust so much. Right. So you look at it now and it's like, that's kind of some nice, little tiny mountains. But like, imagine how much stuff was on top of that it's eroded away to what you have left is like Precambrian exposure. Okay. Holy cow.
Yeah. I think
that's crazy.
This gets back to one of my most favorite rules of geology is the principle of superposition of if it's on top, it's younger.
Yes, that's very important.
It's like, that's a codified rule? Yes, it is. Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it so much.
That's yeah. We talk about that in class because there's like guys, that's this is important.
Yeah.
Like super important. But yeah, that's
Oh, you know what else is over there? The Johnson Shut-ins and Sauk Mountain. Oh my gosh. Forgot about that.
I've never actually been to Johnson Shut-ins.
Well, they
I've
was
always
closed for quite a
heard
while.
about it. Well, yeah, it was shut.
Yeah, it was shut.
Did you say?
You know why? Remember?
Hmm.
No. Okay, so
No?
yeah, so get ready for this.
Do I remember why? Do I know why?
So there is a power company over there, and they use hydroelectric power to generate electricity for the surrounding area. But the tool that they use is to generate power during peak times. You have to release a lot of water really quickly, which is hard to do in the streams of Missouri. So what they did
They're small.
is they cut the top off a mountain and built a dam and a reservoir on top of the mountain, and then pump water from the stream below and store it
Up
on top
to
of the
the
mountain. And then during peak electricity needs, they let it fall from the mountain down through the generators and generate a ton of electricity. Okay? But the dam...
A ton of electricity that they use to pump water up to the top of the mountain. Guys,
no.
What are you doing?
It's okay. It's okay. They fill it slower. It's fine. But anyway, the dam literally broke on top of the mountain, sending this huge amount of water thundering down this mountain and slamming into and destroying the Johnson Shut-in.
Oh,
guys. Yeah. Basically, an entire reservoir was released onto the area below.
Missouri.
They've since rebuilt
Why?
it. And
why do you suck so bad?
Put it
like
all
what
together? It's insane. It's a really interesting way of generating electricity very quickly.
Interesting is one word for it. Yes, that's true.
Because they only need it when that spike starts to head straight up, right? When they're like, this is peak power, we have to generate it as quickly as possible. And you can't do that with the traditional kind of lock or the traditional reservoir system in those smaller streams.
It just trickled out. Yeah. Constant rate.
Yeah, that's
really
the thing. Constant rate. And anyway, that's the other interesting thing about that area.
Wow. Okay, there we go. Add that to my natural disaster list to talk about.
You should.
During my ecology. If we get to ecology in the spring again, I will have to add.
Yeah, you can take your good old water, Ameren Electrical.
Oh dear. We always just talk about the thing in what is it, Verona or whatever, the plant over there that like has like full of dioxin. Right?
Yeah.
We talk about
yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's so great. That's so exciting. How cool is that? And then what's the town that they sprayed all that junk on the road, right?
Right. I don't remember.
What was that? I don't remember either. It left me. But yeah, they took all the waste from like that and like mixed it in with some kind of spray, and they sprayed the dirt roads and like, oh look, it's not dusty anymore, but it's full of dioxin. It's like Holiday or something like this. Holiday, I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like.
Good job, Missouri.
Well, the other thing, the history of Missouri is all the lead mining. And
yes.
And what they do with
Hello, Joplin. How are you doing?
Sorry, Joplin. And what they do with all the tailings and all the...
Oh, they just dumped it back into the underground.
Well, they dumped it there. They sold it as gravel across the country, and they used it as asphalt for asphalt roofs. So it's shingles.
Well, yeah, that's what they did with the Chet piles down there in
that's
in
what
Oklahoma.
we're talking about. Yeah, it's in that same area. And they also, one of the biggest areas that they saw that was just given away for free for people to use in like rodeo arenas. And Let me tell you about rodeo arenas. There's no dust there. There's no dust in rodeo arenas.
No dust at all.
Really
no,
nice.
bulls don't kick up any dust while they're trying to throw a man off of their back.
No, so there's no possible exposure from inhalation. Or oh my god.
Or the poor guys that fall onto it and just like bust their face on the ground.
Yeah.
Tasty.
Something. I don't know. That's dang. I don't know.
Anyway. Well, cool. I'm glad you are digging up rocks and they're all staged and ready to go from the kids get back.
They are. Yeah, we're going to just do our last little bit when they come back. Today, we just finished up talking about like common metamorphic rocks and kind of stuff like that. We had to practice very carefully saying the word schist. Yes, we had to be
very slowly.
Yes, because as sixth graders, we must be careful trying to say schist. It's very important.
Very delicate.
Right. Delicate. Right. That extra is the important part.
Yeah. You don't want them running home to their parents saying, "Mommy, Daddy, we're learning about."
That's what I told them. I told them what I don't want you to do is go home, and when your parents are like, "Yo, what'd you learn in school today?" Mispronounce the thing that we talked about. I don't want you getting in trouble. I don't want me getting in trouble. This is a bad time for everybody. All right, so we just need to make sure. That we say a schist.
Man.
So that was exciting. But I have some pretty, like I said, I found like 700 billion bizarre rock samples in the mystery science closet over in the high school. And so there's a whole bunch of schist in there. So we looked at that, hung out. With garnet schist. That's even more exciting. There's garnets everywhere. And of course, everyone's favorite green schist, because, you know, it's green.
And the people like green.
They do. That's just the ongoing joke I have in my classroom is you can definitely tell when something was named by a scientist.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly what it is. Right. That's why.
That's
what they like. We're talking about like metamorphic rock. We have foliated rock. I was like, I bet you guys will never guess what you call rock that is not foliated.
Yeah.
And they were like, not foliated? Like, yes! Perfect, guys.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's our little ongoing joke about how you know things are sciencey when the names are just like painfully obvious, and also applies to historians too. But like, it's not.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's basically my week. Winding down, preparing for hiding. So that's it. What about you guys?
Airman?
Well, I'm still trying to recover from yesterday's escapades.
Your arduous journey across the rolling prairie.
Yes, in the snow.
Oh, yeah.
Of vowels.
Yeah.
The snow of vowels, right?
Yes.
Oh, no, like it
No, the actual snow.
Snowed. Yeah, that was about a 2-hour trek, one direction in the snow. And then thankfully it wasn't snowing on the way back, but that was still another 2 hours back.
Eek.
Yeah, it was just like, oh yeah, I'll just get this done tomorrow. It's like, oh no, we need to get it done tonight. And
but, okay.
So thankfully, I got to
get your snow boots,
get a state vehicle, and I was leaving this one place, and I was like, oh, I got to go back. But I didn't like some country road. I didn't have enough wiggle room to like do like a full turn, so I just put in reverse, used the camera in the back of the state car, and just literally backed up like half a mile. So I was like, yeah, I'm not risking it. I don't want to get stuck out here in the middle of nowhere. Then yeah, I got back here about 11:30 ish.
Eek.
Yeah,
Long day.
It was very bueno. Let's see here. Finished Christmas shopping. And then do you remember making those almond bark, like pretzels and like the little Ritz crackers with Mimi?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. What is that called? Is there like a name for it? Because I was we were shopping the other day, and I was like, oh wow, this thing, and Shelby's like, what? And it's like, the thing, or the melts it down and put the thing in it, and it's the thing, and so I never knew if it actually had like a legitimate name. But I made that over the weekend, and they're mostly all gone. So,
so you must have done okay.
Yeah. Now that I've perfected how to make them,
excellent. Look at that.
But no, I'm off call tomorrow, which I'm super thankful for. I'm so tired. But other than that, I'm looking around our office to see if there's anything of note that I've accomplished this week.
Yeah.
There's not really anything. Especially down here, that is. We have some of Shelby's friends are going to be coming up from Alabama, and to spend part of the holidays with up here, because it's Christmas break down there for them, so they're going to come up and spend a few days, and we're going to trek around Oklahoma doing Oklahoma things. But yeah, other than that, I've been either glued to my computer or out wherever. This past, like, what day? Today's Wednesday. The past, like, I left Saturday, had to do all that stuff. So Saturday didn't do anything. Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and today I was either glued to my little state computer or driving out in the middle of nowhere. So that's been my eventful week. We haven't had a chance to go anywhere because I've just been busy.
Well, it's all right. The end is near. Everything's on the horizon.
A few more days, man. Just one more day, man. I'm too short for this, man. So, yeah, that's been the epitome of my week of just not really getting a whole lot outside work accomplished. I've gotten a lot of in stuff work done, and then that's really about it. That's for me on this end. That is.
There we go. Sweet.
Yeah.
Collin.
Well, we had some snow today, this morning, that was not forecast for, and so everybody was literally freaking out.
We don't live in Texas anymore. It's fine. Calm down.
I know. I was like, come on.
But Central Missouri, it snows all the time.
Yeah. Get over it. Just, do it. And it was actually surprisingly slick trying to get the kids into school this morning. So I was like, ugh.
Well, yeah, because the roads have been below freezing now for several days. Because on Sunday when it snowed, it was like Saturday was like 45. So it's like, okay, well, it's fine. But like,
So that was all good. And we've been going and trying to do a lot of driving around the city looking at Christmas lights, a lot more than we did last year. Doing a lot more exploring, a lot of different neighborhoods, just seeing the different kind of Christmas lights that are out there. And so that's been a lot of fun. We're going into neighborhoods that, like, I've never been over here before. I don't even know where this road goes, but going exploring.
Yeah. Fine.
So it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we've gone through the ones in the park a few times already.
Living right next to the park, we have it was a nightly. It was every day, sometimes twice a day, going and seeing them. We'd walk by them in the morning and look and note which ones they were, and then we'd drive past them at night, and then we'd go and look at the other ones in other neighborhoods.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
We did do I think it was like Friday night. We did have kind of like a date night. We just went out to Tulsa, went to downtown Tulsa, walked around for a little bit, and then we drove it's called Utica Square, which is in like not like super central Tulsa, but I guess it's kind of close to downtown. But Utica Square is a very ritz, bougie part of town, and there's like it's like a whole little separate entity, and there's these Christmas lights everywhere, and all these like Coach shops and all these really like high end shopping facilities. But the Christmas lights are absolutely fantastic. And then we drove around like all the Ritz people neighborhoods and see all the Christmas lights were up. So that's what we did for our Christmas lights extravaganza.
Oh, cool.
Like, look at this massive rich person's house. Oh, look at all this massive rich person's Christmas lights they hung up. Wow. That's it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's been fun to go see some of the newer neighborhoods, but I really love going to the older neighborhoods. So we're part of the Victorian Historic District. Like way on the edge of it. Like we're not in the proper district of it, but they drew the line way out to us. We're literally at the last street where they did the cutoff. So it's like, ooh, that's nice. So we've been going over to see the really old like mansions of the early 1900s that are all decked out in Christmas lights now, and it's just really, really pretty to see them like
Oh,
cool.
Yeah, that's been fun. I've enjoyed that.
That's fun.
I've picked up a semi-regular dog walking client in downtown, which has been interesting because I'm spending a lot more time there, either in the mornings or in the late afternoons, evenings, walking along the shop. And there are a lot more like interesting shops down there than I ever remember before. And if you do like a Google search for them or try and find them, they're nowhere. Like there's a just straight up like truly independent guitar store. There's a vinyl record shop.
Whoa, really?
Yeah,
Let's
right. It was like, what? Like, I didn't know you were here. And then there's like a music store, like a where you can go in and buy a trumpet and buy sheet music and buy the clarinet reeds and all that stuff. Like, there's one of those downtown, and I'm going, where are these things? Like, I don't know. I haven't heard of any of these names. None of them are familiar. I've been here 2 years, and it's not like we keep our head under a rock. It's like we're looking for things. So I don't know. I need to start going into those more. It's hard to do that whenever you've got a dog with you, but I don't know. Maybe they'll let me in. I'll open the door next time. If I get yelled at, I'll run away.
Yeah, I'm like, no dogs. All right, fine.
So it's just been neat to kind of explore that area a little bit more.
I don't know. I don't really go down. We don't really go to our downtown very much either. It's just kind of there. It's one of those things like we drive through it a lot, but visiting is not really, because we don't have anything cool like that. We have like a pawn shop, like
yeah.
All right.
Well, and like,
cool.
Like we just went to they're doing indoor dining, and there's like nobody there, so we went in. It's a place called Lami's, and it's the old manufacturing. It was built like in the 1800s. The building is still there. They did extensive renovations on the inside. They have a segment of the original floor of this floor that's well over like 150 years old. It's amazing. And they have apartment lofts up on top. They have renovated it to have offices, and then they have a 2 different eateries, and then like a book/music store in there as well. And
good grief,
yeah, it was like, what? And what they used to do is they actually used to make it's called Lami's, and it's named after the original company. They used to manufacture Wrangler jeans in there and ship them all over the place. And so they still kept a lot of the aesthetic around the building, and you can see these huge loading bays, and it's really, really cool. But it's like, why are you here?
Yeah,
this is really like kind of swank. It doesn't fit in, but it's like, this is great. It was really neat to have. The music store, right? And like, bookstore are awesome because it's like a used bookstore and used vinyl, but they also have new vinyl and new books. So it's kind of a mixture of them. And
nice.
In the middle of it, they have this huge table with like all these microphones on it. I was like, what is this? So I went over to the lady at the front desk and I was like, are you guys recording a pod? And she was like, go. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, they think they're going to do it. And I was like, I love podcasts. Tell me more.
Yeah.
So she's like, I don't know what it's going to be about, but blah blah. You know, so and so is putting it on. So I was like, writing down his contact information. Is going to try and get in touch.
There you go. Boom.
But again, it's neat and to have that kind of thing spring up. So went and took a look, and it was pretty cool. They did not have. So we went there. And we're like, sweet. They have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That'd be awesome. Because the kids aren't going to eat anything else on the menu. So we went there and I'm like, have you peanut butter and jelly? And the guy turned and looked at me and goes, oh man, we don't have any peanut butter or jelly right now.
or
jelly.
Did you run out of both of those things?
Yeah. I was like, okay. Well,
do you have the bread? Can I have the bread, please?
It's going to get really complicated for you, so I'm very sorry. Like, I'm going to need this flatbread, but I can't have this stuff on it. I'd like to have this stuff on it, and blah, blah. Anyway, it was fine. But I was like, he looked at me and was like,
why you gotta be so difficult?
I don't know.
Why are you doing that? Why you gotta be that way?
I was like, we don't have the peanut butter or the jelly. Nice.
That's not really humorous. They didn't have either one of them.
I know.
Because usually you run out of one first, right? So it's like, oh, we don't have peanut butter. Or like, oh, I only have peanut butter, right? Like, that's generally how it works. But to be out of both simultaneously seems very odd. I don't know why that stands out to me so much, but it's like, what? Maybe you don't have either one.
And extremely unfortunate if we're just being honest. Like oh,
sorry.
Sorry, man. Okay, well, anyway. So, yep. Doing a little bit more exploring, which has been good. Still don't have the Jeep, so that's annoying.
That's why he's exploring so much on foot.
Really?
Because it's still in 1,000 pieces.
Freaking.
Oh. I think we've moved past annoying stage into like murderous, rage-inducing.
I just don't know what else. Like at this point, like, what are we gonna like? Just gotta wait, and go from there. It just burns me up. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, that's.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't either. Like, this is yours now. Here you go. You own a Jeep. I
am lay done.
Yeah, I'm out of here. And, see you later. I'm going to buy a van. Get out. Like,
right. This is exactly. Man, don't worry, honey. I've already found the 2006 Land Cruiser that we're picking up. Don't worry. Don't ask me.
No.
We're good. We're good.
That conversation would just go swimmingly, I imagine. Like, it's not
fine.
If it does help any, I was actually pulled over Saturday or Sunday, and I didn't want to do the whole like, you know who I am, I'm important kind of thing. I thought I'd spare the time.
They did. Like when he handed him his license, he also handed him his work badge.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
No, I didn't.
Here's
me.
I'm just kidding.
Right.
But he was like, do you know your third taillight is out? Like, third taillight?
Third?
What? Sir, what do you speak of? And so like we get home and
like
it's
the
that
brake light thing.
It's the tiniest little like red sliver of on the back, like right above my the license plate, and I was just
The license plate light.
no, like the above that.
Well, there's a light above that.
Oh, in the back window.
That one counts.
In the back window?
No,
It's on the trunk.
It's on the trunk, and so I had to freaking go. And the next day, I went to O'Reilly's, and I was like, "Hey, man,
Auto parts.
I need to get a not sponsored. I was like, hey, I need to get a third taillight for my car." And he's like, "Your car has a third taillight?" I'm like, exactly.
That's what the officer said.
This must have been Sunday because it was really snowing here. And he's like, "Well, do you want to go like pull the thing off so we can see what light it is?" And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I didn't know this existed in like 24 hours ago.
Right.
And so here we got at least about a good 3 to 4 inches. But of like,
don't tell Susan that.
Good steady snow. And then it like all melted like the next day. But it was just like cold and wet. And he's like, "Well, here's an tool." And so I had to go sit up there in the snow with like, I was like sitting in my trunk, like looking up, trying to like unscrew the thing. And I was like, I got one unscrewed, and I stormed in there, and I was like, "Man, my fingers are too cold. I can't get it." And then his freaking supervisor comes over, and he's like, "Oh, you drive this car? Oh, this is the stuff you need." And my pants were soaked. I was sitting there, and I bought the lights, and I bought a new set of windshield wipers just in case. But he's like, "Yeah, dude, I can't believe he pulled you over for that." I'm like, "Yeah, can't believe he did either. Like I am equally and or more upset than you are, sir, and you weren't even there." So the moral of the story is there's 2 lights in my car that I haven't changed yet. So
there you go.
If or when I get to it, I had the receipt ready, and so like, "Well, actually, officer, I actually have proof that I'm going to be maintenancing my
I don't know
vehicle."
why I don't understand. Again, we talked about this a little bit when I talked about ripping the whole entire front end off of a Chevy Malibu. Chevy, I'm still mad at you, by the way. Like, why do you do that? Like, let's put this random light right here where no one can get it. What's the point of this? Why? What are you doing? Stop it.
It's not like a big thing to the light. It's just like, I again didn't know it existed. I don't look at my taillights when I press the brakes. All the other ones work, and so I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is really fun."
That's the hard thing about taillights, right? Is you don't look at them.
Yeah.
Right. And you have to like physically get out of your car and like walk around and do the inspect thing.
Yeah.
You know, like some sort of RAF pilot in 1940. Like, I don't know.
I had to get out.
Yeah.
And look, but I will make note, I have never been pulled over in any other vehicle except for this one.
I mean, you have been driving that one for a long time.
Mostly
so I think that's like statistically, that's how it works, right? Like,
well, I think mostly because the Bronco was never fast enough.
Also,
so, like I'd be like speeding
your
down.
car goes 50 miles an hour tops,
and tops would be like, "Oh, bless his heart."
Isn't that sweet?
Feel so
but yeah,
sorry for you.
Like, "Oh, look at go, little bitty, go."
His roof is so squeaky.
Hey, that was at the tail end of its life.
Be so
doesn't count. But
you probably just can't hear anything. It's just wind noise and squeaking.
It's best to keep going and get off the road faster.
Yeah. I've had the most like mechanical problems, but I've had the most like cosmetic problems with this car, like headlights, things like that. Like there was one time in the Bronco, the power steering just said, "Yeah, I'm not going to work," and I was trying to turn off onto the road to go to our house, and I just kept like going straight. I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm going this way now."
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, every time I've been pulled over in my adult life, it's been in this car. And then when I told Dad, he gave me his typical dad answer, and so. But
he asked you about why you didn't have a checklist, didn't he?
Yeah.
You don't do the 150-point walk around inspection checklist before you go anywhere. What's the matter with you? That one.
Yeah. But it was funny. I told Shelby the last time, like we were actually up there. I was like, "Hey, just wait. My dad is gonna, when we pull out, he's gonna stand behind us and look at our tires, and he's gonna text us, "Hey, your blah 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 tire is looking a little flat." And did Jack Von Kaiser do? Yes. Well, son, I noticed your rear tire is just a little low. I'm like, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
The moment I got out of eyesight, and it's like, well, son, I just.
Because why don't you know? Why don't you know literally every single sound a car makes? Why do you not know that? Come on. I do not know
what it means. I couldn't hear it in the Bronco. If we're okay. So for those of you who are listening,
who haven't listened to past episodes,
I used to have a '91 blue Ford Bronco Eddie Bauer edition. And
I thought it was older than that.
No, it's a '91.
Wow.
I was older than it just because it was released off the assembly line in March
90, but
yeah, but
still it was gigantic. It's bigger than the room I'm in right now. Let's be honest.
It was a Windsor 357 351 Windsor engine. 351, just a massive tank of a thing. And so on a good day, it got about 9 miles to the gallon. Although after when Dad got it fixed, it got 17 miles to the gallon. Just throw that out there. But it's basically the Bronco is basically an old F-150 just with a camper shell attached. It's pretty much like same chassis, whatever, just bigger. And in the early years of having it, I would just take the camper shell off, pretty much just be a backless truck.
Roofless is the word you're looking for.
Trucks are inherently backless.
A cabriolet truck, if you will.
Yes. Right. And so
sure.
in the later years, I had somehow gotten complacent. I don't know how or when. But I just did not put because you put it on and then you screwed it, and then it had the plastic inside lining, and I didn't put that on right. And so the slightest wind ruffle, the slightest bump, pretty much everything on a road in Missouri just made this horrendous squeaking sound. And I knew where it was, because there was two pieces that came together right in the middle, and it was that little chunk that I don't know if I just put the wrong screw in or if it was just the metal piece that was together, but it was very loud. And that vehicle also had a lot of just road noise anyway, and so plus that did not help facilitate any comfort of road experience whatsoever. And so normally you can hear when I was coming, granted the truck was very loud, but my music would just be blaring because I couldn't hear it. And also I wasn't the first person to drive my truck. You guys were. It was on my birthday, and I had to sit in the back of my own car while you guys drove it.
Did we?
Did this happen? I think you might be making this up. I don't remember this.
Because we drove. Sorry, you drove up the driveway and to the circle, and then I think Collin drove down the hill to the other circle, and then I drove it down the driveway. So I had to sit in the back of my own vehicle on my birthday.
I don't remember this.
I do. It has gone in my great book of grudges, and
it will not be crossed to you, Aaron. I'm sorry.
That's true. I mean, you're about to turn 30, so your memory's going. Obviously,
I will buy each and every one of you a vehicle, and I say, "Hey, here's the keys, but wait, let me drive you to the house."
Yeah. I mean, that's fine with me. I don't like driving, so you drive me around all you want. I don't even care.
But yeah,
got him.
I definitely do that vehicle, the Bronco and the blue Suburban. I do miss
Like driving tanks.
Collin's
You're
Jeep.
telling me?
Collin's Jeep
I
was
like
a
to drive
nightmare.
cars the size of an aircraft carrier. That's my favorite thing to do.
Collin's Jeep was an absolute nightmare, but I do miss I miss the Bronco, and I miss that the behemoth of a Suburban. Even though I never got to drive it because I was always little, but of just being inside of it and just driving it through the field or whatever. But yeah, if I could have vehicles now, which the new Bronco came out and it's only like $50,000.
Oh man, what a steal!
So close.
Let me.
Yeah, Google that real quick. And then
let me have my teacher's salary. Just get right on that one.
Yeah, but yeah, if I had a choice of getting those vehicles back, it would definitely be those, because those are just fun. Now that I can afford,
you can probably buy a Suburban for like $1,000. So
yeah, now that I can actually afford the gas, because in the Bronco,
nobody can afford that much gas now.
I had to drop like over $100 just to get it from E to full. And so most of the time I drove it and be like, here's $15, all I got. A little dent. Let's see how far I go. Only ran out of gas once, so pew, pew, pew. Of course, it was on the way to school, and Dad Funkhauser was behind me. Oh, you didn't fill it up, did you?
Well, I mean, at least you were rescued. And you didn't have to walk.
You're welcome.
That's good.
I will say the one thing about the new Bronco lineup is it is infuriatingly confusing as to what exactly you want and what the actual good one is. There are seven different trim levels.
Are there really?
7. Starting, you can get the base one starting at $28,500. That's the 2021 Bronco 5. And then it goes all the way up to the Bronco First Edition, get this, it starts at $57,000.
Yeah.
For a Ford Bronco. I would much rather have a Toyota 4Runner.
Well, have you seen the Ford Rangers?
I want the one that has wind up windows and right. That's what I want. Where's that one? Like the janky headliner.
Right.
You know how much money you could save on a car if they just reintroduced winding windows, like manual windows, into the lineup? Boom. There you go. Not only is it cheaper, it's also weight saving. Right. That's important.
Yes.
For your gas mileage and your racing. I mean, gas mileage. You can.
Gas.
Well, because Collin, you've seen the Ford Rangers, haven't you?
Yes, and they're ridiculous.
You want to talk about? Yeah, because they're always so little and quaint, and now they're literally the size of an F-150.
F-150 from 10 years ago.
Yeah, not the new one.
Very key here. Yeah. No, they're ridiculous yet again.
So,
now,
yeah,
granted,
I want like a. You just got to get some random car from the 80s.
No,
the wind up windows and
here's the thing.
No accoutrements, right? Just a radio. The ones where it has the spot for the tape deck, but there's no tape deck, so it's just sort of filled in with a weird thing.
Yes. Maybe some particle board that's been spray painted to match, or not really.
It could be just black particle board. That might be true. It's just a little piece of black plastic that's just oh, you didn't get the tape player. I'm sorry.
Well, no. So you say that, but I just read a report today about how prices on cars from the 80s and 90s are starting to go up because
people want them. People want that 91 Toyota Camry. First of all, it's never going to die, ever. Nope. Literally ever. I saw 2 yesterday. I'm not even joking.
Seriously. No, get this. A Mint is it was a Toyota. What came before the Tacoma? It was whatever came before the Tacoma. So reaching back, the truck itself.
I don't truck.
Yeah, the truck is 25 years old. It's in mint condition, truck. One owner family, with 70,000 miles on it. They're selling it for $47,000.
What?
Toyota truck.
I mean, it is an unkillable truck.
Yes,
we know that.
We all know that it's a good investment, right? Because you can't break that. But anyway, I just as people are turning to try and find more collectible cars, or at least cars that they remember from when they were growing up.
Yeah.
80s and 90s cars are now starting to get snatched off the market.
Oh man, I need to buy another Cavalier.
You
Where
need
did
to
that?
get that Toyota Cavalier back to
My
drive.
Chevy Cavalier. When I could change
Sorry,
the headlights
Chevy
without
Cavalier.
removing the entire front end of my car. It was great.
This is
Remember that? You remember those days, Chevy? You remember them? No, you don't.
no, you don't. You've forgotten your
Yeah.
way.
I've forgotten your ways.
Well,
When all I needed to change the alternator was a hammer. Right.
and even that was kind of optional. But it's kind of, it's just like, why? When I'm looking at another car, I'm going, well, maybe one from the late 90s, early 2000s wouldn't be such a bad idea anyway.
That's true. That's true. You gotta get that. Was it that 93 Honda? Boom.
Yes.
That's collectible.
Yeah.
And cool
That
looking.
93
I like the way they
Civic.
look. I like those big square
too.
bodies, anyway.
Yeah, right. But no, this brings me to something I thought about before, like for real, right? Like I was slightly joking about the wind-up windows earlier, but if you really think about it, if you want to increase things like gas mileage, one of the things that you have to take into account is the weight of your car, right? And reducing the weight is going to increase your fuel efficiency. So, like, all of these things that they're like, oh no, we've got like, seats that adjust in 700 different ways and they're heated, and they're like, those seats weigh like 120 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? That's a bit of an over-exaggeration, but they're heavy. Right? Like old style is like, it's a seat and you move it back and forth. Like you save so much weight in the car that way. Your fuel efficiency is going to skyrocket if you pair that with like modern engine technology and emissions design. If you cut all that junk out of the car, your fuel efficiency is going to skyrocket.
Well, you know what else? Save cost. Airbags. Those cost a lot of money. Side impact resistant doors. Those are pretty heavy too.
It's true. But if you just make them out of steel, like it's still fine, right?
You can make a pig iron.
So it's what's side impact resistant? A steel door. It's fine.
Steel door.
But like, I mean, you have like, I understand compromising for safety things, but like, does your trunk really need to be like fully lined with like all this?
Sure.
No. Right. You're not in the trunk. You'd be okay. Stop it.
We could just make everything out of carbon fiber, and then that saves so much weight.
That's true. But there's a balance to be played, obviously. But like, but you can start with like little things, like seriously, like a front seat of your car. Like it does not need to be that gargantuan.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember that really hit.
It doesn't matter how plush your seat is. If you drive in your car for multiple hours, your back is going to hurt. End of story.
Mm-hmm.
It literally doesn't matter what it's made out of. Right?
Unless you're in the backseat of a Maybach, maybe.
Yeah. Long wheelbase Mercedes, right? Like that's different. But like if you're driving, your back is going to hurt. That's just how this comes from sitting there for a long amount of time. So like the seat isn't the problem. It's the fact that you're driving for many, many hours in a row.
Yeah.
But like you could chill out a little bit with that. I was thinking that nobody would buy it because they'd be like, oh, but it's not fancy. It's too like, poor. I don't know. They'd be like, oh, it's so common. No one wants common cars. Get out.
But no, you're right. As people looked at cars and they became a status symbol, they also started to want to see these comforts or these modern features that just became to be expected of them. It's really interesting to go back and listen to some of the very early top gears and see them bragging about how like AC is standard, right? It's like, what?
Well, yeah.
Like what? Just this progression of things that get added or bolted onto a car.
I mean,
because it just becomes.
If you really think about it, how many times a day do you roll down your window? Honest answer.
Hardly ever.
Oh.
Hardly ever.
Yeah. Once.
Yeah.
Ours is generally once a day when we get home and check the mail.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only time I even move the window. Like, so I don't need them to be like all electric, 700,000 pounds of motor in my little handle. Done.
Yeah, auto
back up. There we go.
And down, and all this.
Yeah, like locking or all that weird stuff. Like, I don't need that. What you actually need is just a handle. There you go, done.
Plus, it's a workout. You get a little cardio in there too.
Yeah, a little tone, right? There you go.
What did Clarkson say on the Top Gear one time when he was like, in the 80s, we didn't go to the gym. We went for a drive because we didn't have power steering. True.
Yeah, now since air conditioning is standard, you literally don't need to roll down your windows anymore, right? I used to do that, like lean over and like frantically try to roll down the passenger side window at a stoplight, right? Because you're like, it's hot.
It's hot.
Oh, why is it hot? But like,
yeah,
because my car technically had air conditioning, but like, did it really? No, it didn't.
It was a stretch goal.
Yeah, it had a button that said it was a lie though.
Aspirational.
It's aspirational air conditioning. The fan worked. That's all you.
Right. The blower
can blow some of the hot air back at you. Like, thanks. No. It's so nice.
Yeah. I love bathing in my own sweat.
But yeah, because it's not a tool, right? Like you talked about, it's not a tool for a job, like getting me to work.
Yeah,
that's what my car's for. Really, that's it. That's all it's for. It's for transporting me to work and groceries from the store to my house. That's kind of it. I don't see the car as like, oh, look at me in my fun car, right? It's a car. It does a thing. And it, like, that's what I just wanted to work. It's a tool. It does something. And like, let's not talk about depreciation and how dumb that is to add to that equation. Like, oh, I bought this $50,000 car. Oh, it's worth 35. Oh, look at that. Look at that immediately. Like, look at the instant you sign the paper, your car drops in value like half. But it's just a tool, does a thing. I don't care. Like, I don't look at it that way. There's other things in my life. Like, we talked about this before too, but like the car just right now, it's like I don't care. I don't care. I just want it to go and come back and stop. It's nice.
And it's up when I want it to. When I want it to.
Yes. I just want it to work. That's it. That's all I want. That's so much to ask. I don't need your fancy schmancy stuff. Like, I don't need a backup camera because I can do turn around. Like, I don't need my head. I can turn it like, oh, look.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who spends probably way too much time looking at the interior of Land Cruisers, it's really interesting because I have those same thoughts. You go back and look at the interiors from the 80s through the 90s to early 2000s, and then some of the more modern ones, and just functionally, it doesn't do any more right now than it did, right, 20, 30 years ago.
Correct.
It doesn't do anything more. It may do things differently, but you're right. It still goes the same way. And a lot of cases, the four-wheel drive system is the exact same. The underpinnings are.
The parts are the same. It's just, looks fancier.
Looks fancier. Right?
Now, I'm not saying that every car should look like the interior of a Citron 2 CV. Okay, not saying that.
Oh,
that's like.
However, if you wanted to,
around. It's like. Have you seen the seats in one of those things? It's like a pipe with some fabric draped across it. Like,
right?
It looks like a deck chair that they're like, no, it's fine, guys, it's okay.
Well, they were envisioned for going on picnics in the countryside. So why not?
Well, yes,
give you the chair.
It was designed that way to be affordable, right? Yes. But I'm not saying that that's what everything should be like. But there's expectation of like. Because a lot of car manufacturing is driven by like American car culture. It's basically like, oh, my car needs to look amazing. And part of that is because as Americans, we have to drive everywhere. That's it. That's the only place. The only way to get somewhere is to drive, basically. Because everything's so far away and spread out and designed for driving that people have to spend stupid amounts of time in their car going places.
And they want it to be a nice place, right? They want it to be...
Yeah, they want it to be a nice place on their journey. When you're going somewhere and you're traveling 7 hours in your car, like that's and I know for our European friends, that is the dumbest sentence we've probably said all night to you. It's like, you do what? Why?
Because we can, right?
I drive 7 hours in my car and I'm only in the next state over it, right? Like, if I drive from here 7 hours, I can only make it to Illinois. That's it. That's as far as I've gotten.
That is quite depressing to think about it. That if you think of it,
right? Like that.
Great scheme of things, if we drove 7 hours in most of any directions, we haven't gotten to any place particularly different or interesting.
Yeah, right? Like, oh no, I'm in southern Arkansas. Why am I here? Like, dang it.
Yeah, if you want to go to the coast, you're adding another 5 hours on top of that before you get to
oh
see
man,
any
don't
sort of
even
water,
yeah.
right? It's like
Yeah. Yeah. Europeans, here's a distressing thought for you. If I need to get to the next closest country to where I am currently, my drive is 13 hours. Right?
And no,
before I hear welcome to Canada, right. I have to drive like 13 hours. It's 12 or 13 hours. Same way if I want to go south, basically exact same distance before you hear it. Hello, welcome to Mexico. Right? That's it. That's a long way. Is it hola? Bienvenidos.
Perfect.
That's like, it's so far. So like, this is why they're like that. They're like, oh, it has to be all like nice because people are in them for so long.
Yeah, you think of something just as like the entertainment system of like one CD changer is not enough. We need a 6 CD changer to rotate.
Now, I personally, as somebody that had a CD collection of like a lot, CD changers to me were always like weird. Like, why would you do that? I put 6 CDs in there, but like after a couple of hours in the car, I'm like, I want different ones now.
It only made sense whenever they moved them up to the dash, right? Whenever they were like in the back of the car in that weird average thing.
The aftermarket ones, you have like it's under the back seat. And you're like, how unhelpful is that?
Or in the trunk. That was always my favorite. Was they would put him in the trunk of a car? You're like, what?
Yeah, like mounted to the top of the. Yeah, like what, guys? What are you doing?
You're
Hold on, let me change my music. Get out of the car. Walk around to the back. Take out that big, giant thing that. Right, you remember that stupid thing? I never had one, but some of my friends did. It was like
cartridge that you had to.
It looked like a giant cassette tape that was full of CDs.
It was the most ridiculous thing in the world.
Weird.
It was like, to what end are we doing this, guys? This is ridiculous. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand why you do this. Right? Again, part of it is because I'm so like, I guess, whimsical with what music I'm going to listen to. Right? Like, oh, I want to hear this song. And then I would have to like flip through my CD thing and find that one CD. But like, if it was in my CD changer, I'd be like doomed forever. Like, well, that's it. I can't get to it.
Anyway,
I'll just turn the radio on.
Listen to this forever.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I'm just gonna stuck here now because I can't.
Man.
I don't have to get out of my car to change CDs. It's raining.
That was a really awful technology. It was so bad.
It really was. That was I don't know what they were thinking about that. Like, I know the thought process, like, one CD is awesome, 6 is better. But then when you're like, where is it? Where do I put it? Where do I put my CDs? In the trunk. Like, wait a minute. Why would I do that?
It actually doesn't sound better. It is. I know.
It's so good. Like, are you sure?
Don't.
I don't think that's better.
I'm going to say this and you're going to think I'm crazy, but I don't believe you.
Yeah. Or the ones like in the back seat. So I think one of my friends was in the back seat because I'm pretty sure it was my job as passenger, to like crane around and like try to rejam it in there somewhere or something like that. Like,
yeah.
So you have to have like a co-pilot.
First, you had to
change your music, right?
Yeah, because otherwise, there's no way you could manage these ungangly things.
It's like a 1920 race car. You have to have somebody over there manually pumping the oil through the engine.
Especially as you go around corners.
Yeah. That's like
new song. You are my on-hand CD. I don't know, sommelier.
Yeah, it's live disc jockey in the car. Dude, find this one right now. Go. Like, which is kind of what it was like when we were driving around. Like, yep. Find this in there somewhere. In that pile of CDs. Okay. Hold on.
I think of it more like a wine sommelier. Yeah, sommelier, who hand picks crafts your next, few hours of music enjoyment for you. And
yeah, based on your current mood and
curates
the road on which you were driving. Yeah. Like, oh yes, I think that this Rancid album was perfectly paired with this back road in Missouri. It's slightly aggressive and yet catchy and enjoyable. Yes, it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
And that the most gas savings there is you kick out your CD sommelier and that's immediately at least 120 pounds that you save.
That's true.
And the gas savings that you get out of that are just phenomenal.
But actually you're saving gas money when you have constantly driving somebody around because they pay for part of the gas, right?
Oh,
so that's like that's how it works.
Okay. Well, I didn't.
When you enlist your friend to do it for free,
relationship was with the sommelier. So if they're paying a
if they're your friend, then you got to be like, you're like, dude, I drove you around all day. I'm like, okay, yeah, here's $5. All right, here, got it. Boom.
Okay. So save on gas.
And to put on my old man hat, $5 back in the day. It's like gas, man. There you go. No.
Gas up here just went up. We filled up yesterday and it was $1.88. It is now currently $1.99.
Well, it's holiday price gouging time, right? People are driving a lot better, make gas more expensive.
Totally
right?
Makes sense.
I don't normally pay too much attention to gas prices because it's like, what else am I going to buy? Right? Like, I have to buy it if I'm going to drive to work and stuff. So, like, it's kind of, I've just sort of accepted that my fate is paying ridiculous sums of money for gasoline.
Yeah, like, not going anywhere else.
Yeah, like, what else am I going to buy? Oh, I'm going to put some kerosene in there. What do you think? No, not like, I can't do that. Like,
shit today.
It's not like there's options,
Yeah, and I've thought of, I have that app Gas Buddy downloaded, and I think Waze can tell you information about the local.
Well, yeah, where has the most? But our town doesn't have like a whole just bazillion tons of gas stations, right? If you live in someplace like Springfield, that'd make more sense.
But still, even then,
there's like 100 gas stations.
Like, what am I?
I've got like 5.
I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna open the app. I'm gonna see which one is not going to be on my route, obviously, because it never will be, right? And waste the time to go there, and then Like, no, like I'm gonna go where I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna hope it's gonna even out over the course of my life, and we're just gonna roll with it.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you have your preferred gas station, right? You're like, I'm gonna go to this one because it's not like all sketchy and gross.
Scary,
right? Like
I've not been asked for a cigarette from a person standing next to me
in the parking lot.
Yeah, in the parking lot.
Right. It doesn't have that you know those old gas stations where everyone thought like, oh man, a white tiled floor will be such a great idea, but it's always like really dingy and gross.
And then, yeah, but
like weirdly slimy, like all the time. You're like, what's happening here?
By the time they realized it was a bad idea, there was nothing they could apply to it to make it clean again.
Yeah, to get it off. No degreaser in the world. We'll get that out of there.
That's it.
Yeah, so they just like put big mats on it. Like, no, it's fine.
Cover it with carpet. Like,
don't worry. Like those big Centos mats, just like blap.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
New flooring. Newly remodeled.
Yeah. No, I do like a gas station has charm, right? But you don't want the sketchy one. Because, you know, there's always like the sketchy one. It's like, no. I'm not going to go in there. That's all right.
That's fine. I'll just keep going. I don't need it.
And they usually don't have that. Well, the sketchy one usually has like more expensive gas anyway because it's like smaller and it doesn't. So that's the trap you get stuck in.
Yeah.
And let's be real, the sketchy one does not have good snacks either. And that is the important part of the gas station experience, especially in America. Gas station snacks. Important. It's because you do travel on such long journeys to get places. It becomes your source of snacks on the road, right? So you just buy all kinds of stuff in there, grab gas, and there's like a random assortment of things to eat.
And be on your way.
That's always my I always like to kind of the little game that I play with myself, right? Is like, what random things can I buy here that kind of resemble actual meal?
Well,
the actual food source.
I always loved we tend to always stop at quick trips whenever we go places if we can. But I love seeing the difference in gas stations, just of all shapes and of all brands. But when you go from the really, really small ones to the ones like on the interstate, because those are like
those are crazy.
Those like Walmart supercenters.
It's actually a grocery store in there.
With like
it's nuts. They didn't used to be like that either, but in the last I don't even know, like 10 years maybe, those things have gotten so ridiculous. There's like frozen food section in there.
You can buy TVs and like
all kinds of stuff. It's wild.
It is. And I love the difference between those, because you go into ones that are like barely have a bathroom. They have some like soggy peanuts in a box that you can have to eat, and the gas probably has water in it. And you're like, okay, anyway, I gotta
definitely has water in it
as quickly as possible. And then you get to those, and it's like this, it's like this shrine to the automobile that you come and you get to worship at.
I mean, I guess that is the other consideration about which gas station you got to stop at. It's the bathroom situation, right?
100%.
Is it the sketchy bathroom that's like you have to get the key with the hubcap on it and go like out behind the building to use the bathroom? Like, because if that's it, you're like, no, never mind. I'm actually good. I don't want, because that bathroom hasn't been cleaned in a year.
No.
And it's really gross in there. There's like all kinds of mystery things in there that you don't want any part of. And so as much as the big giant ones kind of like are weird, the bathrooms though, pretty excellent. So that's at least, you're like, oh look, a clean bathroom. That's all I really wanted. That's
I don't care. Gas is $17 a half gallon. Perfect. I love your bathroom.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Oh man. Well, I like that idea, saving gas. We still need to do a car challenge. I comb through the classifieds looking for our cheap car challenge.
It's really cute that you think I have the kind of disposable income as a teacher that we could do a car challenge. That's really
I threw
that's adorable.
The bike idea, the motorcycle idea out there. The moped.
That's true. I can afford a bicycle, maybe.
Bicycle.
Like,
okay, sure. We'll start with
from a garage sale. Like, here you go. It's $40. That's what I got.
We just need to come up with the appropriate challenge. That's all we need. Okay. Write a review about it and film us. And we'll be on our way.
Oh, dear. Then you're stuck with this thing forever. That's the dark part of it. I gotta
no, because at the end of it, it gets sold or donated. See, that's the part.
Donated.
Forget here.
Donated. True.
So, we'll keep working on that.
Maybe one day.
One day.
So,
make a 2CV out of spare
not
parts.
Today.
Not today.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Good. Well. Oh. I have nothing to add on top of that.
That's true. I think that's it. I think that's calling it. There we go.
Ding, ding. Hey.
Yeah. Listeners, let us know about your favorite place to stop on long trips and get snacks. What do you do if you're in other countries? Do you have gas stations with snacks in them? I need to know the answer to this question.
Also, what is your favorite kind of rock?
Also, what is your favorite kind of rock? That's another good question.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.